Welcome, Centaur Astrology. Yesterday we did Nessus. Today we are doing Okyrhoe. Okyrhoe is one of the three lady centaurs. She's an incredible one. She is the daughter of Chiron and Charlico. Charlico was a beautiful water nymph. And Centaur. And when they gave birth to her, when Charlico gave birth to her, it was by a fast-running brook, a fast-running stream. So Okyrhoe means fast-flowing. That's what the name is there. And the asteroid that she's named after has the most elongated orbit of I think all the dwarf planets, actually. And she orbits between Mars and Jupiter, but she's closest to Jupiter. So her nature is kind of on the reckless, prophesying spiritual, beautiful Jupiter nature, but also the impetuous, youthful, do before thinking, instinctual energy of Mars. So she's a pretty strong one in our chart. Where Okyrhoe influences you in your chart, as with all the centaurs, they work with the darker parts of us, or the chaotic parts of us, or somewhere where we can get into trouble. Let's put it that way. But also where our strongest gifts are. And Okyrhoe, she shows us in our chart where we can foresee the future, how we foresee the future, but also where we're going to be attacked for it. So Okyrhoe had the gift of prophecy. She could clearly see what was going to happen, and she would sing her prophecies out to the world. And she actually prophesied her own father's death, Chiron's death. And because of that, the gods punished her for revealing what, they deemed she should not have revealed. and so they turned her into a mare. So where this is significant in our charts is Okyrhoe speaks for the people that can clearly see a truth, something that's going on, and say it, even knowing that their own friends, their own family, support groups, the world will attack them. And it's not just a matter of thinking they're crazy or conspiracy theorists or whatever else. It can be outright anger at revealing something that someone feels shouldn't be revealed. So it has to do with a lot about our principles. We could look at this myth and did Okyrhoe regret what she did, or would she have done it anyways? We look at her with the Jupiter truth seeking, right? That's what she's into. So her prophesying abilities to see the truth, they need to be sang. They need to be interpreted. So this is the part of you that you can clearly see, but a lot of times might shove down because you don't want the judgment or anger or reactions of the society around you, or to lose that love that's there. Working with Okyrhoe and using her in attunements, we learn to use our gifts of prophecy, to channel that information and to stick to our principles and reveal them no matter what. No matter what. So a lot of times in the chart, she also works with acceleration because she is fast flowing, and because of her orbit, we look at her as kind of like psychosynthesis. So it can handle integrating fast career moves and trying to get them into private life, or any fast change and trying to get it integrated into your home life, or harmonize with your at-home life. But mostly she is to reveal things and uncovering things that are not going to be appreciated by everyone. So that's the energy kind of Okyrhoe. And so she's got an interesting story to her. So as I said, her orbit kind of goes between Mars and Jupiter. She's a dwarf planet, so she doesn't orbit fully around the sun. But when she was found conjunct the fixed star Pegasus. And Pegasus was an incredible discovery for our solar system. In 1995, when they discovered Pegasus, they realized our solar system's not unique because Pegasus is very similar to our sun. It's this giant bright fire that is a sun to other planets. So there's a revelation. Even when she was discovered with this huge revelation that a lot of people didn't want to believe, because that, opens doors to all these possibilities that a lot of naysayers probably didn't want those doors opened to. Get what I'm saying? So astrologically, Okyrhoe indicates being criticized or attacked, being able to cope with the attacks or unpopularity by standing up for the beliefs and principles of the things that you can clearly see. That makes sense? So she's a more difficult of the three asteroids to connect with, probably because she's very busy all the time. But also because in her chart, not everybody is going to be strongly affected by her. So again, with the asteroids, they're subtle in the chart. The more work we begin to do with ourselves, the more we see them. And depending how strongly she is in your chart, what planets are conjunct with her, is how these gifts are going to originate for you. But as always, I'm going to give some examples as we go further. And if you want more information, of course, contact me, and I do online readings no matter where you are in the world to go through your chart. So, Okyrhoe. So she's the only other thing I'll tell you, she orbits every 24 years. And because she doesn't go through, she's a dwarf planet. So Okyrhoe, the gift of prophecy and the not getting along or not being represented, supported by others for our prophecy. So if Okyrhoe is in the houses or the signs where she is, for example, let's do Okyrhoe in Aries. So Aries is, ruled by Mars. So they're already quite instinctive and reactive beings. So their prophecy is going to come through means of action. They're going to enact something, and they're probably going to be quite direct and strong about it. Almost with a fight kind of attitude when they're saying their prophecy. This is an easier place for Okyrhoe to be because the typical Aries energy already isn't really influenced by what lies around it. However, depending on the house that Okyrhoe is found in, can decide how this gift manifests. For example, Okyrhoe in Aries in the first house, this is going to be one of those out loud fighting conspiracy theorists. Their whole identity is going to be this clear prophecy of, I can see what is happening, and they're going to march and get the world to see it. Okyrhoe in the second house is going to think more of how to put things into a tangible material way. So here you got the prophecies that are going to see what's going to happen perhaps financially in our world, or perhaps using tools like crystal balls or other sensual things that incorporate the senses to know what's going to happen coming up. And if we looked at Okyrhoe in the sign of Taurus, Taurus is the sensual earth goddess. So they're going to get their prophecy and their messages from the leaves, the wind, the smells out in nature. So where we get our gifts of prophecy is in the sign. How we enact them is in the house. And then the important planets that aspect to them are going to be how your prophecy comes out. So let's keep going on another example. So Okyrhoe in Gemini, you now have this energy of vocalization, of master words, of putting together information into articles, some way that can be interpreted to everyone, so they can read, hear what's going on. So that's the gift of prophecy if Okyrhoe is in Gemini. Unfortunately, the bad part of Okyrhoe in Gemini is the naysayers can attack those things because they're published, or because they're heard, they can be twisted. Depending on the house, let's pick a house. Okyrhoe coming out of the 7th house. So let's say we're in Gemini, energy of verbalizing it, and we're coming in the 7th house. This means that there's now not a conspiracy, a partnership approach. So this prophecy requires other people to help get it out, a partnership of sorts. It could be because the gift of writing is there, but not the gift of delivering. Could be so many things. But the collaboration is important for how we can get that out there. Libra's the 7th house is a hard place because it requires a partnership, and it has the Libran energy. The peacekeeping of it wants to get it out in a fair way, but it can play its own devil's advocate. So literally here, the Okyrhoe prophecy can almost self-sabotage itself. So where she is where she manifests is how you're going to do it. So we did Aries through action, Taurus through the senses, Gemini through vocalization, through writing, being the messenger. Moving forward to Cancer, here's the nurturer. This is the person who is so caring and motherly in nature that when they have this gift of prophecy, they want to change the world's fate because they truly care what's going to happen to people. So here the energy shifts from trying to get the message out so strongly to almost a savior approach. And moving forward into Leo, now you've got your performers, your kings, your leaders, the out loud spokesperson of clearly what is being seen. This is almost like Noah and the ark. Guys, I spoke to God. He's flooding the world. Leo is going to be out loud about it. And Okyrhoe does well with the fire sign energy, because those out of all of the zodiac archetypes are the least likely to care so much what other people think. Now, I say that Leo is strong and principled, but Leo also craves that worship. So that can be the detriment there, is not saying something because they're in fear that they're going to lose their kingdom. But they're also a fixed sign. And fixed means principles are important. Steadiness is important. So the Leo is going to manifest Okyrhoe by literally performing, getting it out in a magical way that way. Okyrhoe, the gift of prophecy, as we move forward, after Leo, we have Virgo. This is the healer of the zodiac. So this is someone who's going to research all the information and deliver it quite analytically and perfectly, but they're going to do so again to serve the world. So these are the people right now that are gathering the medical information. Look what's going on in our world right now. So they're gathering medical information, but it's going to be on the side that's not popular. They're the ones doing research that's not popular. These are the Virgo Okyrhoes. And they're the ones standing up like Dr. Robert Malone and saying, look, like this is the facts. This is the analytical truth. This can't be argued. These are facts. But the world hates him because he's not going along with the narrative at the moment. Or what most of the majority of the world's narrative is. We'll say that. Or what media is. You get the drift. So those are some examples. As we move from Virgo, we go into Libra. Again, Okyrhoe here is interesting. Being ruled by Mars and Jupiter, Okyrhoe has a huge gift. And here, this is Libra is the peacekeeper. but also the balance, the harmonious balance and mediator of the zodiac. So here is a tactful place, because as much as Okyrhoe's prophecies here are going to be delivered in a way that aren't going to rock the boat too much, there's a passive aggressive way of kind of point blank infusing her gift of sight of what's coming up in there. And by clearly seeing the other side's point of view and researching that as well, she has the balance to give the insight to people regarding what they need. So anybody who has Okyrhoe in Libra is going to be a great deliverer of prophecies, and probably in the safest way, because it'll be hard for people to be accusatory and angry at them, because they aren't going to be sure which side this Okyrhoe prophecy is going, because it's gonna dispel both things, but the truth seekers will hear it. So the gift of prophesy against all odds as we continue through goes next into Scorpio. This is an interesting one. Scorpio, formerly ruled by Mars, takes the aggression of Mars to more of the intensity of that warrior. So this is where it turns into the control aspect. So when it comes to the gifts of prophecy here, again, a strong place for Okyrhoe, because Scorpio can penetrate anything and can say things in such a powerful, intense way that people magnetically hear it. So this can have a cult following approach to it, which is good in some ways, as long as the Okyrhoe doesn't get too much power here and keeps the principles straight. The hard part is a lot of people can look to this Okyrhoe that are on the outside, and that's easy to attack, because look at them. they all chant these crazy chants and drank this Kool-Aid. So Okyrhoe is strong and difficult here as well. As we move down to Sagittarius, well, this is, again, the orbit of Okyrhoe goes between Mars and Jupiter. These are its strong points. It has Jupiter's ability to believe, to travel, to prophesy, to say these what's coming up, and the truth seeking of Jupiter, combined with that strength of that recklessness of Mars, the I need it out now. It can't wait. It has to go now. So having it in Jupiter, are in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, and that incredibly, optimistic fire sign, this is a great way for Okyrhoe to deliver her gifts of prophecy. Here, the Sagittarius has world views of prophecy. They can speak in a way that any culture, any dimension can hear them and understand them. They can prophesy in a way that can rarely be refuted, because people don't actually have the same experiences, so they have a hard time. So it doesn't mean they're not going to still hate them. No, there's always going to be people who are fighting to keep the truth from being revealed. But Sagittarius' approach to it is out, enacted, and quite confident, because they've been there. They know. Moving into Capricorn, here we have a resourceful, practical Okyrhoe. This prophecy is going to be matter of fact, and it's going to be logical. These are the Okyrhoe prophecies that literally say and question, think of landing on the moon. It was an Okyrhoe Capricorn that said, well, how come the flag isn't blowing on the moon? And how come we haven't been back there? And how come this logical way of practically looking at things, this is their way of prophesying. They're sharing a truth that they can clearly see, even though it's not in the spiritual crazy realm. It's almost more powerful, because they just want an explanation. And so they're easy to attack because, people say things like, wow, the science says, or whatever. whatever they might say when they're attacking that logical, cool, practical Capricorn who's just literally watching the whole scenario and saying, but can't you guys see this? This doesn't make sense. So again, just examples. You don't have to believe what I believe, but these are how I interpret Okyrhoe in the charts. And then moving to the next one, Aquarius. Here we have our peaceful rebel and our eclectic way. Aquarian and Centaurs actually get along pretty good because Aquarius have this erratic, eccentric energy about them, and Okyrhoe is also there. Here, the Okyrhoe gifts of prophecy are literally, they're literal downloads of intuition. Aquarius have a type of genius to them. They can already be connected and see things that we just can't on an intellectual intelligence. The Aquarius gifts are literally on the genius level. They're not empathetic, heartfelt revelations. They can see with their third eye, whatever you want to call it, what's going to happen by patterns, maybe recollection of Atlantis or all those other places, who knows? But they seem to already know things we don't know. So their gift of prophecy is literally just saying things that we might find far-fetched. We're wondering, how are they coming up with this? There's no proof. There's no this. But they deliver it in a way that you're piqued. Your interest is piqued. And you're like, well, I can't disprove it. So these are one of the most hated kinds of Okyrhoes. Again, just for the people trying to hide the truth, because you know, it's not about facts here. It's about, how does this person clearly know what we're intending when we haven't even said it ourselves out loud? So that's a powerful Okyrhoe. And then Okyrhoe in Pisces, well, this is almost the opposite. These are the empath of the zodiac. So the Pisces energy of Okyrhoe prophecy comes from just feeling the sensations, the vibrations in the universe around them, what's going on. They can empathetically attune to any vibration and almost know whether it's what the truth is that lies between there. Pisces have a lack of boundaries, which gets them into a lot of trouble, but we're not going to talk about Pisces that much. But Okyrhoe in Pisces, this can represent a gift and a detriment at the same time, because Okyrhoe in Pisces, although it can quickly say, you know, a prophecy or what they see, they're also easily talked out of their own beliefs here. Okyrhoe, you know, all the other ones, when they get attacked for their principles, for their prophecy, what they can see, have their own ways of handling it. Pisces has a disadvantage here. They're more likely, maybe Libra as well to some degree, but they're the most likely to start doubting their own prophecies when they strongly feel something, just because they can sometimes, if they're around, you know, enough people who are calling them liars or calling them out on their visions or whatever, they might just start to believe that. So if you have Okyrhoe in Pisces, this is something you really want to watch for and make sure you stay true to what you clearly can feel. So that's an example of Okyrhoe through the signs, and that's just the personality. How it comes through in the houses, it's where you're going to manifest that, but it also is going to show most likely where you're going to be attacked by it. For example, if you have Okyrhoe in the 11th house, well, it might just be your friendships, your communities, and your groups that attack you for this vision. You can clearly see this prophecy. If Okyrhoe is in the 12th house, it could be your own subconscious that's there, or you could be institutionalized or locked up because of you stating your truth, seeing clearly stating what you're seeing. So all of the houses have a way of it manifesting somehow and showing where the detriment in your truth is, your punishment for the truth is going to be there. The gift of Okyrhoe, once you figure out where she is in your chart, is to learn to work with the ability to spread your prophecy, whatever it might be. And when I say the word prophecy, I mean anything from a clear download, a clear vision, a clear feeling, something that you know is truth, that is not going to be taken great by the rest of the world. But you know it, and you've got to get it out there. So Okyrhoe, working with her, is learning how to get it out there. In our society, a lot we're taught to close our mouth, to not say anything, to not doubt this, to, don't argue this, don't believe this. And if you don't believe what the mainstream people, society, are telling you to believe, then you don't fit in. And as a herd animal, we freak out at that. We're not supported. We're not loved anymore. So Okyrhoe is a tough one in our chart, because a lot of us, especially even since we were little, have been suppressing this energy. So as you continue working through your natal chart, and mostly on yourself, as you start doing the work and figuring yourself out and getting more in tune to the truths and stuff that are out there, recognizing your soul's purpose and aligning that with this truth you can clearly see, and getting it out there, it's important. So Okyrhoe, the gifts of her, it is invaluable for the empowerment that she can bring to you. And you know what? You might be hated by many for speaking your truth or sharing your prophecy. You might be punished in all the ways, outcast, locked up, all those things. But you have your truth, and you have those people who stand by you no matter what, because they know you're integral and that you have that. So working with Okyrhoe teaches us all those things. I hope this gave you some clarity of the energy of this beautiful female centaur. And if you would like to know more about where she is in your chart, please contact me. I do many group readings with all of the centaurs. And then I also do private readings, one-on-one sessions that at this time are $50 for 1 hour with me. And we could definitely look at her in your chart and see how to harness her full potential, and also to see where the repercussions might come in from. Have a great day. Thank you for sharing this moment with Okyrhoe with me. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Mwah! Bye.